Hello and once again welcome back to some more Let's Play DTS-T. Today I am again, for the third time, already joined by the creator himself, Deathmatcher.
Hi there, nice to be here.
Yep, and we are playing a secret level today, and maybe some more after it. Tell me, right away, is it possible for me, will it be possible for me to maybe finish this episode in our today recording, in an hour?
No, because you somehow underestimated the length of the episode. There's actually another 5 levels following after this one. They all belong to chapter 3.
Holy crap, yeah, I can't really think of what levels could there be because, well, we have like one deck left of the whole space station, I think. So it's interesting to know that there is so much left.
Yeah, and let's just say that there is a twist or two in this chapter.
Okay, that's great, and well, I'm going to have to readjust my plans a bit as to who gets to when and in what order to fit what I want to do as Hippocat. I want him to be here at the beginning of episode 4, as everyone knows. Alright, and as he asked last time, is this actually based on a real place?
Yeah, it is. Your suspicion was correct. This is the place where I passed my communal service. If you don't know what that is, up until a few years ago, you had to do your military service in Germany, or alternatively, you could do communal service, like doing some civil stuff. And I passed it in a youth hostel, and that was a very shitty experience for me, so I decided I could kind of relive this again in Doom until the end of time.
I am willing to bet that my experience in this level is going to be a bit more enjoyable than yours was.
Well, I don't know if it's a really good level, but at least it's very faithful to the original, how it was back then, so everything is made from memory though, but yeah, it should be very, very similar.
That texture, where did you get that texture? The things hanging there.
Oh, that's just some random kitchen picture I found.
Quality there, okay. Also, I looked at this chair before and these bullet holes kind of looked like it was bolts, and I was about to suspect another custom texture, but no.
No, that was you. So basically I had to do all the cleaning back then and all the dishwashing and stuff like that, and I really hated it because I had to do it every day. So this guy you just shot here was kind of me doing the work.
Yeah, I was thinking that he looked familiar there. Okay, so nice to know that actually this is based on a real experience. I can say probably a bit more than, whoa, no land inside, a bit more than a real place. It's a bit based on a real experience. Okay, I apparently, oh, it's like a teleport here, cool.
Yeah, I toyed around a bit with new ways to do staircases and floor above another floor, and in the end I felt it was kind of a neat effect to have this fade out, fade in to really show it's a loading in between, because originally I didn't have the fade effect and it looked a bit weird, so I added it, and I think it does a really good job.
Yeah, it's nice. It's not too long, so it's not annoying if you have to walk back and forward multiple times, but it's masking the fact that we're transitioning into a different place. And these fronts of these washing machines are really different color from the sides.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like they were cleaning them only from the front because no one ever looks at the side, and the sides are all dirty and dusty and stuff. Okay, also, before I forget, oh, rats again. Yeah, before I forget, sometime after our last recording with Hippocat, I had the craziest dream about this whole thing. I was playing this level, but for some reason, the hostel thing, it was like on a rock of Earth floating in space right near the station, so it made sense, like we jump in space, if you remember, in the out of the ventilation, but I forgot that something happened after that I teleported somewhere. So in my dream we just kind of jumped out of the ventilation and landed on this asteroid that had the hostel on. And I remember it having custom enemies, really weird ones, but the only one I remember was yes, it's really bizarre. I don't know what really prompted that, but one of the enemies was like large floating medals, complete with ribbons and all that stuff, like size of a human. If you imagine a large round medal and attached ribbon, and they were just kind of slowly floating towards me and attacking me melee like pinkies. And I asked you something about it. Are these just redone pinkies? You said, yeah, these are just pinkies, only reskinned. So that was weird.
That was a very elaborate dream, actually.
Well, to be honest, it's one of the less elaborate. I usually remember a lot more, and they're usually a lot more bizarre. I'm one of those people who dreams really crazy stuff and remembers it most of the time. But yeah, it's a real pity that I don't remember the other custom enemies, because I can only recall that they were even more bizarre. Like, I don't know. They were based on, I think one was a Revenant and one was something else. But no matter, I am completely like wandering here, lost, no clue where I'm going, where I went before, where I've been here. I guess my map will help me in this.
Yeah, so this is the basement of the building, where kind of community rooms, billiard place, pool table, and Coke machine. I originally had a Coca-Cola company screen there, texture.
Did they sue you or something?
Well, I was a bit afraid that it might be a bit too much copyright infringement, but so it was kind of a last minute thing that I just painted my own.
And I thought people do that all the time, that sort of stuff with the Coca-Cola or whatever, Pepsi, whatever brand they want. Nobody cares.
But DTS-T has some gray areas in terms of copyright in there, and this was probably a clear infringement, so I wanted to not cross that border.
Well, I don't know how pointful that was, but I guess it made you paint a new texture, and that's always great. Okay, where haven't I gone? A lot of doors. Is this actually all optional? That I was been exploring.
There's a very large amount of this level is optional, more so than all the other levels probably.
Well, that's kind of cool.
So if you know the way to go, you can probably finish this level in well under 10 minutes, or probably like 5 minutes or something.
Aha! Also, something tells me that the level turned up so non-linear and having so many optional areas because you wanted to recreate like the layout faithfully, but you didn't know exactly how to make the player visit everything, so you just kind of made it all optional.
Yeah, exactly. So the basic idea is that while I was working there, I had access to like 90% of the building, but the remaining 10% was kind of up to my imagination. So once it gets really hellish and a bit weird, you will know when you are in the 10% of the building that I didn't have any access to.
Right, I was just about to wait until you finish and say that you should have made the areas that you didn't have any access to, like this really satanic place, like maybe housing some cult or whatever, but apparently you made just that. Well, we'll see. But yeah, that's funny, kind of like they didn't let you there because they were worshipping Satan or whatever.
Yeah, that was kind of the idea behind that.
Oh my. Also, the only thing I don't like about this whole thing is actually the fact that the stairs managed to disorient me quite a bit so far, because I have no way of telling where I'll end up on the map when I use a couple of stairs, because like I don't see any connections between them. I just kind of have to remember, but that's I suppose that couldn't be avoided. Whoa, a lot of doors.
Yeah, it's a youth hostel, and so there are many similar rooms. I think it's something that I wouldn't do in a regular level, but as a secret level is allowed to do that, in my opinion.
I am reminded of when I was only starting mapping for Serious Sam. I made the sewer level as my second one because I love sewer levels, and someone on the forums complained. Actually, I know very well who it was, but no one else knows, no one else cares, so I'm just going to say someone complained that it was kind of boring looking and didn't have interesting architecture. And I just said, like, what kind of architecture do you expect in a sewer, man? What are you telling me? And it's, I don't know, I haven't really thought too much about it, but it's interesting to think about whether mappers should just not ever. Well, this. Okay. This is kind of funny. What's happening to this toilet?
The toilet is broken.
Wow,
Everything is flushing
really
over.
broken. Like the physics broke around this. Okay, as I was saying, I was thinking whether the mappers should, like when they make games, not like Levels for Doom, because Levels for Doom it doesn't really apply, but bigger games with better graphics, should people just avoid whatsoever making locations that are not interesting by their nature, like a sewer, or I don't know. I am always all for making all sorts of location, and if they are boring, then so be it. But people make arguments that they just don't want to spend a second in a boring place when they're playing a game. So like everything should be completely exciting all the time, and everywhere you look should be like, well, as I said before, everywhere you look should be a painting of some sort.
Yeah.
Painting quality. I don't know. Have you played the Aliens vs Predator series?
Only very briefly in multiplayer, I think. It wasn't a very good-looking game, I think, but...
Well, I don't know. The second one first time was very cool, but I've been replaying the series recently all over the place, in the first one and the third one and the second one, and I just noticed how the third one, the most recent one, it's absolute crap, by the way, in case anyone was curious. Well, it's pretty distinctive that they made like several locations, and all three campaigns for all three races, they're just sharing the same locations, and they walk through them in a different direction maybe and such, visit slightly different places, but still. And it's really obvious, because when you go out in a like outdoors area, there's like a base or something else, a canyon, and it's obvious that they just made the prettiest area they could make possibly, and then you just kind of had to reuse it as many times as possible for different campaigns, because it was too much work and too much effort to make different ones. And in the old games, obviously, it's like all the levels are completely custom for each campaign, and the atmosphere around it just never looks so freaking artificial. Like, you know, if in the third game you look around, you just see this was made completely considering only how pretty it would look. So there's like sunset and whatever. I don't know. I can't really put into words very well right now, because I'm kinda angry at Alien vs Predator 2 right now, because I've just been playing it for the past hour. But yeah, I think this is kind of like the modern way to design your levels visually, because it's much more expensive to do so with the new graphics and such, and it often leads to completely boring looking. Well, they look nice, but they feel boring because they are completely artificial areas. And I don't know. I don't even remember why I started that.
I always like it when games look a bit realistic here and there, even if the gameplay or the aesthetics suffer somewhat from it. As long as it doesn't, you know, spread across the entire game, it's okay for me.
Did I just kill a rat with splash damage from a rocket? I think I did.
I think so.
Yeah,
so
I remember.
You might have recognized the slopes here, which weren't that prevalent in the game so far. This was actually the first level I did with Doom Builder, or where I switched from an older editor to Doom Builder, because the older level editor couldn't tackle the level anymore. And while in previous levels I would have maybe scraped some areas, it was absolutely impossible to do it here, because I wanted to be absolutely faithful. So I just, you know, this kind of forced me to go to Doom Builder, and that was just such a blessing for the project.
Right, you should have done so very early. Doom Builder is just so much more convenient than anything else.
Yeah,
especially
absolutely.
the second one.
So this is the first level where I toyed around with slopes and ACS scripting and stuff like that, even if I replaced the scripting later on by some more robust scripts.
And also, while we were talking, I remembered why I even started about Aliens vs Predator. In the first place, it was concerning that question of realism versus making completely exciting levels, completely exciting looking in all directions all the time. I think I made it clear throughout the LP and before that I vastly prefer the approach that makes the levels more. I don't really want to say more realistic, because abstract is fine, like Doom style abstract, but more natural in the sense of it sometimes having really like empty stretches or boring stretches or whatever. Where is the yellow door? I don't really remember. And well, yes, that. So the Alien vs Predator series is really good. I just really wanted to rant about the series because I'm so angry about them right now. But I apologize. It's not really. It has nothing to do with the what
That's
we're
no
playing.
problem.
Yeah, I just want. Come on, man, so angry. But yeah, that series, I was actually hoping that you played them so you would completely understand what I'm saying. But I think you can imagine anyways.
Yeah, I think in an abstract way I can. I know what you mean.
Okay, I haven't opened these doors apparently. So yeah, that's a great example of how the previous games, I don't know, maybe it's just me and I prefer older graphics, but I really genuinely think that the levels just, even in the sense of being like more handcrafted, because in their modern games today they all have this approach of like how the levels are built. They have some models like props and they just kind of put them around all the, I wonder how should I even phrase this, if anyone's familiar with the editor to Morrowind, if anyone's, or I don't know, maybe later Elder Scrolls games also, well, it should be not really difficult to grasp the concept of, like, in the older games a level is like one big, to use completely non-technical terms, like one big model, and in the later games the levels are just kind of reusing the same models all throughout. So like they made a model of a house, model of something else, and they just kind of construct levels out of them instead of making the entire level each section separately and from each other. So it really does have that feel of a more natural environment.
Yeah.
I really should have, I don't know, maybe taken some chill pills before because I am kind of incoherent right now because of my rage.
If you like finding a secret here, I didn't really tell you a secret so far, but if you can go actually outside here, if you manage to open this door, and I can tell you the secret is somewhere here in the basement. So maybe you would like to find it.
Well, I would, but as you probably can understand, looking around for secrets isn't really the best thing to do in an LP. But I'll spend
I can
some
just
time.
tell you
I'm
where it
curious.
is if you like.
So there's a way to open this door, and the way to open this door is somewhere around here in the basement?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that should narrow it down enough, even if I don't find it. I don't really want spoilers, so to speak.
Didn't usually give you the secrets or hinted at them, but I think in this case it's just nice seeing the place from outside.
Okay, if I don't think I want to really comb through this entire place. If you can just give like a bit of a hint, not say it outright,
Yeah,
but like
you were
on the map.
very close in that other room just a second ago.
I was thinking that since it has the same door, maybe it has something to do with it, but I can't really find anything here that's...
That's a good disguise, isn't it?
Right, the vertical lines like in the wood texture and the switch lamp texture are completely the same. Yeah, that's good. I would never have noticed. Well, the door, is it deliberate so it's the same texture as that door?
It's not the same texture, but
Well,
the Doom lighting makes it very similar to it, because the green, if it's a bit, you know, in the darkness or in the shadow, it looks almost brown.
Yeah, I'm in texture of the door, this brown here, this texture, because it's the only door in the area that's...
That
well,
was
at
just
least...
because it's the yellow key door and it's supposed to stand out a bit more.
Okay. And I kind of took it as a hint that the room behind the door had something with opening this.
Not intentionally.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I think you should have made the classic key indicators, because it's really, once I have the key, it's there is no way to tell which door was locked with
Yeah,
this
that's
key.
true. I deliberately chose not to in this level because I wanted to keep it realistic. It's the only example in the entire game, I think, where I omitted them.
Silent teleporters, huh?
Yeah, I think I should add a fade effect here as well. If you don't look up while going upstairs, it is not that harsh, but
well, it's still completely noticeable,
yeah.
as you can see. I just wonder, why did you make it like geometrically? It's a completely different area. So why did you not just make a yard, an outside place where the actual stairs, like here, around here? Why didn't you just use this empty area for the outside area? And
that's a good question.
that could have been completely avoided, this whole silent teleport thing.
Maybe. Yeah, I think there's absolutely room for improvement. You're right.
Well, that should go without saying. To be, I thought I saw like a button here. Maybe I'll just start seeing buttons everywhere after that secret. Okay, so what's this? Yes, shells. So it was really useful for me right now. Right, and the supercharge also a good time to pick it up. Okay, now I know that I have the red key, and once again I really don't remember where a red door was, but it's probably not too long to just kind of comb the map. Looking at it. Any lock doors on this level? Nope. Here.
You're trying to get it from the auto map.
Yeah, I'm trying to look.
That's a good thing, yeah.
To find a door that I haven't gone through so far. Blue key, damn it. Well, I should remember that the starting lobby here has a blue door. Oh, and it's where I just was, right. Okay, red. Maybe it's that one. Also, oh no, this said something about blah 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 being locked, blah. I didn't really pay attention, to be honest. I wish I had paid attention, because it probably said something useful to me. But maybe it just said about something being locked from another place, or something like that, being opened from another place. Okay, and I'm back here again. There are multiple stairways and it's confusing. Okay, this one is this one. That's the secret. Oh, while I am just kind of stumbling around, I think I might as well elaborate on what I'm hating so much about the Alien vs Predator 2, which I've played, because there is really not much to talk about otherwise at the moment. And damn it, did I just find... Dagnabbit, I wanted to rant. Or is it not the... yes, there's something here. Oh wow, why is this guy here? Was it like the office of some supervisor or boss?
Well, not really. I think it was my co-worker. It's not really, he wasn't a Nazi or anything, they just wanted to have a different type of enemy here.
Well...
So sorry for that, man, if you ever watch this.
I wonder if... Was he a Doom player?
No, I don't think he will ever watch it, to be honest.
Yeah, I also was about to say that. Also this... Absolutely no reason, because it has nothing to do with it, but it reminds me of... I was in a hospital like a year ago exactly, and in the bathroom we had one toilet that would just whistle, like... endlessly, and I couldn't sleep even because it was just so loud. It was someone had to go there and just kind of kick it, and it would shut up for like 10 minutes and then it would start whistling again. It was so fucking annoying. I don't know why, but whoa, So I guess you weren't allowed here.
Yes, this is as far as I was allowed to.
Well, I think maybe it's a good guess as to what was hidden from you, so to speak. It might just be accurate, we don't know. But yes, as I'm fighting this Baron, I'll just kind of mention, I am one of those people who, despite sucking at many games universally, I usually choose the hardest difficulty, and it was a complete mistake for Alien vs Predator 2, because the hardest difficulty is the one that doesn't let you save in the levels.
Oh,
so
that's awful.
Also all these things are blocking. Well, half of these things are blocking because I have like a
I don't know
strict
what
setting.
kind of settings you have, because in Doom Builder you have the possibility to either choose between the blocking and the non-blocking version of it. And these are all the non-blocking versions in Doom Builder, so it must be some...
Yeah, I just switched the compatibility template from Doom Strict, which I usually... Oh, I should probably go out of here before changing back to default. I usually use Doom Strict because usually things work like that. Because you can actually enforce... I think it's in map info, you can enforce some compatibility options for the WAD.
Yeah,
so you could probably,
I remember
if you
1
wanted.
megawatt. I think it was what was the name? Was it Epic? Was that a name?
I haven't played the Epic series, so I can't really.
Yeah, I think it was
tell
in one
you.
of the Epic levels where I was absolutely unable to really play one of the levels because some compatibility mode kind of. It just didn't. I think I was supposed to shoot something and it just didn't work. So I had to Google it and I had to mess around with the settings to be able to play the level.
Also, I am actually surprised that we had to return to this level to go to the exit. And is it like some sort of a hub feature? Where
the entire game is a hub, or it's a series of hubs, and you normally don't notice it, but in this case I thought it would be more realistic than the usual Doom way to just throw the player back in the exact state where he left. But it's more consistent with the story as well.
Could you maybe, upon player's return from that level, using scripting, could you detect that he returned from another level to like spawn a couple monsters around here?
Yeah, I could.
That would be kind of cool, even though it's really cool how we just returned here, because
a lot of things are possible. You can also manage keys and inventory to be consistent with where you left and stuff.
So are the keys the ones that I had in this level, or?
I think in this case, I don't know, from memory, I think I was lazy because you cannot access the secret level without picking up all the keys.
So you might have just left over from the last.
Yeah. But I tested very thoroughly against bugs that could result from it, so it should be very bug-free.
Good to know. Good to know. And before I go anywhere, I have just to finish my train of thought concerning that. When you play something... Oh, crap.
Okay, this is the main power core of the station. Let me do a scan. God damn it!
God damn.
Still no DTS signal. Oh wait.
Oh wait.
This is interesting. Okay, 2 important pieces of information, Marine. The deck below you houses a shuttle bay, and there's apparently an asteroid nearby. According to the signals, the UAC might have established a base down there. Maybe you should get to the shuttle bay and fly to the asteroid. Unfortunately, the elevator is still out of order. Okay, I have a risky plan here, Marine. If you shut down this power core, you might be able to access the elevator shaft and get down to the shuttle bay. In theory, at least.
Okay, this is cool. So I get to go on an asteroid then.
Yeah, I think this is the largest or the longest audio transmission from him in the entire game.
Definitely feels like that, so far at least. Yeah, he interrupted me in mid-speech once again. But that actually what I wanted to rant about concerning that game. I think it applies to like all games, to game design in general as well, and to Doom 2, because I usually don't really save when I play Doom. So I think I said it before that usually I just play without saves, and when I die I just can't be asked to replay what I bit already in what I know, so I just kind of quit. But in any case, I think that's really in a game which where this can apply. Playing without saves is a really good indicator of how well the gameplay is balanced, because in the Alien vs Predator, both the first one and the second one, and I'm willing to bet that the third one too, because it's quite similar, even though it like forces me. Say, I think there was an option to play without saves, but I didn't really dare try. It's really just completely trial and error, because you have to memorize where enemies stand, where like the turrets stand, and unless you know that, you stand no chance completely of whatsoever of beating a level on your first try, even if you're really good with the alien, because he is completely like pathetically weak. And if an enemy has a chance of like if an enemy sees you for more than 2 seconds, then he'll kill you probably. So I was just going to rant about how even the worst Doom levels are more fun to play than that game in hardcore mode. Also, how do I leave? Do I shoot something? What the?
Do you want me to tell you? Ah, yeah, it's just a timed door.
I thought it was me pressing a random section of the wall. Okay, it's better, I guess. So yeah, and I don't know, this isn't really, doesn't have anything to do with the WOD at hand, but for Doom levels it's also probably a good way to test if you balance it well, if you can beat it without saves.
Yeah.
And if a tester can beat it without saves, but well, maybe playing on a lower difficulty, or if the tester is like really good at Doom, like Memphis and his FDAs. I don't know.
I have played. I think I beat the first 2 Dooms without. At least the first Doom I beat on Ultraviolence without dying, without saving. But
I definitely beat the first one.
It's not my usual way of testing. In DTS-T I just tried to be able to, you know, get through the game on Ultraviolence well, without, you know, struggling too much.
Okay, there's an erector zone down here, and he's going to block me if I jump into him from up here, and he's going to be a pain in the ass.
You also have infinitely tall actors on.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know how many people play with these with the strict mode. I don't do it, and I haven't done for a lot of years, so my bad probably that I just used too much on the modern port settings.
Well, I wouldn't say, damn it, Skype notifications in the middle of screen. I wouldn't say it's really bad, but I think many people actually, I don't know, maybe I'm just kinda, my approach is strange, because I like vanilla WODs and vanilla maps, and I like playing as close to vanilla as possible, but then I only play in ZDoom, so it's kinda contradictory here. But that's just probably because ZDoom is the most convenient and easiest to use for me,
yeah,
the most port. But usually stuff works, but when it doesn't, I can kind of excuse, I guess, because probably the most levels made for ZDoom probably are tested with the default compatibility settings, so
yeah,
it's understandable at least.
I mean, it's difficult to design for such an old game, because there are so many different settings and so many different preferences in the community. I had one guy kind of almost accusing me of not having balanced DTS-T to use with Brutal Doom.
Oh man.
And then actually, thankfully, people jumped to my aid in the forum and said, hey man, it's not his responsibility to balance against other third-party mods.
Yeah, that's complete bullshit. I remember Alfonso also talking about some guy who complained that, or maybe it was Tansman, in one of their streams of Back to Saturn X, they mentioned a guy complaining that one of the maps didn't work right with Brutal mode, and they were just so completely what's the word? I don't remember the word, and I will not remember it. There's no chance of me remembering the word, but they were just completely baffled by that why would anyone think that people should balance their stuff for their stuff for third-party modes. And did I just completely kill myself?
Yep.
Oh well, it wasn't this long.
I really am hard pressed to not suggest you saving, because I hate that. So I almost did it. But yeah. lessons learned, I guess.
I just kind of forgot to save in this case. I was going to, because during LPs I save a lot to save time, but
Two important pieces of information.
okay. And I also just noticed I didn't remember that these were lasers, which I probably turned off by pressing whatever this was in here.
I think you just rage talked yourself through this room. You didn't really pay attention.
Rage is a powerful emotion, my friend, and rage is something that was like completely. I don't even have the right words for it in the English language. So much bullshit as that game on the hardest difficulty. It's the most. It's like blinding, completely blinding rage. I would, if this was the time and place for it, I would rant so long about that, but it isn't, so I'm not gonna, even though I really want, and since I'm replaying there is not much to say, but
You
who
could
cares?
you could do an Alien vs Predator let's play and rant there.
Yeah, I was, I had a video some time ago where I asked people to suggest like small horror games for me, because I wanted to test myself in how well would I do blind in a horror game, maybe with some puzzles, like, because watching horror LPs, most people are so fucking stupid and unattentive, and well, maybe I'm just being hypocritical because I have been kinda unattentive too playing this, but I don't know, I wanted to play like people play horror games blind. I wanted to play it for myself, and someone suggested Alien vs Predator 1, the Marine campaign, and I was kind of thinking about doing that because I've beat the Alien campaign and that, and I started the Predator, and those I played before, and the Marine I never beat, so it could be interesting, but I don't think that trying to beat the second one as an alien in the Alien campaign on the hardcore difficulty, I don't think there's going to be any fun to watch, because it's just so many or unless of course I cut out all the failed attempts, but then what's the chance that I'm going to actually manage to say anything in that? Also, where did the guy go? Did he just fall down here last time, or did he?
I think so, yeah. Well, there normally is an arachnotron spawning here, but I think he only spawns on ultraviolence.
Well, but last time I was also playing on the same difficulty, and there was a guy down here in the arachnotron. So I guess he
don't
just
know what
fell.
happened here, to be honest.
Just kind of fell from up. Maybe I think there was only one on the side. Maybe he just kind of fell down. I didn't know monsters in Doom could fall down from cliffs like that, but oh well. Maybe I'll just go into a different. I'll go here, wake everyone up, and then I'll just go into a different room whatsoever.
Okay.
Let them duke it out while I'm exploring around here.